Welcome to IoT Simplified. We're going to continue our look at Power BI. If you're looking for another video, you're in the wrong place. This particular video, we're going to start looking at how we can add custom visuals to our reports. So it's a real powerful tool. I'm going to show you how to do it. Probably not the best graphically you can achieve, but once you've got the concept, you can go away and do something a bit more professional. So let's just have a quick reminder of what we've already done on a previous video. We've added this column, added a standard if statement. So we're monitoring this column here, light max. If it's greater than 1000, we display wear sunglasses. If it's anything else, light level normal. So most of the time light level. We have a look at our report. Here we've put in an info card with a table, and we've set the conditional formatting to go green with black text. And if I click on this filter, put a filter on there, the wear sunglasses is red with yellow text. We're now going to take this to the next level, and we're going to see how we can add graphics to that rather than this little table. So something similar to, say, an alarm indicator that you would have on a DCS system or a SCADA system. Let's have a look at our data first, because we'll use a different data set. We've got here vibration, 3-axis vibration sensor coming in. We'll learn how to use this table properly. So we have X, Y, Z. And for each axis, we have the average, maximum, minimum, and the standard deviation. So it's the standard deviation I'm going to look at. Bizarrely, I'm picking the one in the middle, so we'll look at this, and we'll use this to trigger our alarms. Added a new column. You can click on this button to add a new column. Here is my formula. This is the name of the column. I will change that to text rather than what I had there. If, then I put and. This is my table name. This is my column. Is greater than 1 and less than 4, so it's an in-between type alarm. I just show warning. If it's greater than 4, then I show alarm, and then if it's anything else, so i.e. it's less than 1, it's good. I'm setting that so at a later date I can put visual in to have traffic lights. But let's have a look at how I can drag this into my report. So I'll go back to my report, select vibration, and I can just put card in here, and I can drag, here is my text value, and I can do conditional formatting like I've already done in the previous video. But we want to go to the next stage and put some nice visuals on here that gives us easy to understand green, amber, red. There's a couple of ways that you can link an image to Power BI. The lowest cost option is to find your image on the web and then copy the URL and link that into your Power BI project. That's fine. If anything changes that's outside of your control, then Power BI just won't be able to link to that image. The best way to do it is to store your images on your own cloud container. And in this instance, I'm going to use Microsoft Azure. So I've taken this image here, and I've done a little bit of editing, which is within my skill set, which isn't great, to be totally honest. And I've created 3 separate images by cropping that. I could have spent a bit more time and done a professional job on that, but you know, this is me. And what we're going to do is put these into Azure Blob Storage and then link that to my Power BI. So we're in control of the images that we use in our project. So let's have a look at how we do that. This is my container on Azure. This here is my sensor data, and this here is my error logs. I'm going to add another container for my images. So here, click on Add Container. Set the the access level. I think it works on the middle one, but it definitely works on container. give it a name and click create. So there's my container. We can now open this container and upload our files. So it's a case of just dragging and dropping. Let's find the files on my PC. We'll drag those and upload them. Each one of these files has a slightly different URL. So if I click the three dots, properties, you can see the URL here. Copy that and make a note for each one of those URLs. And those are the URLs we're going to use in our project. I've added another column, so you can click here, add new column, and I'm using exactly the same formula that I have here for the text, but rather than put in the alarm conditions, I'm putting the URL link for my images that are on Azure Blob Storage in between the inverted commas for each one, and then run the rule for all of my rows, and here you can see it's changing the text. Now you won't get the images here on your spreadsheet, you'll just get the text, and there's not many ones on here that are in alarm. There's one there that's red, and I think there's an amber here. So if I just go home, it's been a while since I've done a refresh, so I'll do a refresh on the data, and it will run that query on all of my new data as well, which again is green because there's nothing vibrating on my desks that's causing any anomalies. So the next thing I need to do is to visualize this in my report as a traffic light. If I click on my report, what we need to do is add this in here as a visualization. If you just use a card and drag in this image that we've created, so this is the new column, again you just get the text. So we need something that is going to enable us to set this as a URL. So let's just delete this, and there is a free to download tile which I've got here called CloudScope. To find it, click on these three dots, get more visuals, and just type in image, and you can see here there's two. There's Pro, which has a lot more functionality, but you have to pay for it. But the one I'm using is the free one, which is doing enough for me. So click on that and install it, and then we're going to use this. So if I just click on the visual, and then here is the URL for the image, and I've got a little bit of it there, but obviously it's too big for that little square. There is some nice functions. So if you click on here, visualization, image options, turn that on, and then we can fill that. We can change the background color. If we do the fill, it probably looks a little bit nicer. We can put borders on there and everything else, and we can have the border color as black. Don't really need to do too much other than that. That's now ready to go. The only problem is it's using the filters here that I have on my Power BI project. So this one is showing warning. I've got a lot of data, but if I click anywhere on here, look, it will go to its state for that measurement point. So what I want to do with this data here is for it to show the latest status of the vibration sensor. So the last reading, has it detected an anomaly. So to get this to show the last value, we have to add a quick measure. I've already done this, but I'll show you the process. On the top name, mine's called Query 1, but this is the name of my table. If you right click it, new quick measure or new measure, we'll use quick measure. And when you get that, you'll get the option to edit your quick measure here. So you don't have to do it in the table form. So I've given it a name last Y alarm. Yep. And now this is my query. I'm going to calculate the last known value in this column, and I'm going to filter that by looking at the event time. So this is another column I've got. So every process value is time stamped, and I'm going to use the maximum value. So that will always be the current time, and then it's going to pull that value from my alarm image from that row. So what I need to do is to quickly edit this. So I'll remove this value, put in my last. I'm happy with this. This is now showing the status for the last measurement. So I have my last values and the status. I also have my text, so if I want to have a look at it and put a table in my report, it makes sense that I have something that's easier to filter through with a table. But what I want to do is put that status on my tooltip, and you can see I've already done it here. My tooltip is down the bottom. So I've dragged the image into here. I've used the same tile. I click on this, but rather than put in the last value in, I've just put the standard value in, so it will always filter as part of my graph. So I've added that there. If we go back to the graph, if I click anywhere on this graph, I can see my status. I've added this filter on the text, so if I put warnings, I can see when my warnings occurred. Good, there'll be a lot more. And then when I'm in alarm, I've got 2 here in alarm. That's a basic user case that we've put together for alarms. You get a lot more control over what you want to do with your visualization. I actually saw a traffic light widget here that you could download, but it was chargeable. So now I've generated that myself with the images and using if statements in my table. Very easy to use once you know how to use blob storage and save your images. So I hope you found that useful. Please share this channel with your friends and colleagues, but for now, thanks for listening and hope to see you again soon.